Ladies and gentlemen, let me talk to you for a moment, because a lot of people today are confused about love. They're confused about what it looks like, what it feels like, and most importantly, what it gives. Everybody's talking about butterflies. Everybody's talking about chemistry. Everybody's talking about passion. But I'm going to tell you something real today. A person who truly loves you will give you two things without any reason. Real love gives consistency, not confusion. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something that will save you years of heartache if you truly understand it. Consistency is the clearest sign of genuine love. Not sweet words, not big promises, not emotional speeches at midnight. Consistency, because anybody can be amazing for a moment. Anybody can show up strong for a week. Anybody can make you feel special for a season. But it takes real love to show up the same way over and over again. See, confusion is expensive. It costs you sleep. It costs you peace of mind. It costs you self-esteem. When somebody says they love you, but their actions change depending on their mood, that's not love. That's instability. One day they're affectionate, the next day they're distant. One week they're planning a future, the next week they're unsure about where this is going. That emotional roller coaster is not passion, it's inconsistency. When a person truly loves you, you don't feel like you're walking on eggshells. You don't feel like you have to calculate every word before you speak. You don't feel like you're constantly trying to earn back a version of them that only appears sometimes. Real love is steady. It's dependable. It's reliable. Consistency means they call when they say they will call. It means their behavior matches their words. It means their treatment of you doesn't depend on how convenient you are that day. It means you don't have to decode mixed signals like you're solving a puzzle. Love is not meant to be a mystery novel. A lot of people confuse excitement with love. They say, but when it's good, it's so good. Of course it is. Even chaos has good moments. Even storms have calm patches. But what matters is the pattern, not the peak. Anybody can give you highlights. Only someone serious can give you stability. Consistency builds trust. And trust is the foundation of any strong relationship. Without it, you're just surviving emotionally. When someone is consistent, your nervous system relaxes. You stop overthinking. You stop doubting. You stop preparing yourself for disappointment. You start feeling safe. And let me tell you something important. Inconsistency is not confusion on their part. It's clarity. If someone is hot and cold with you, that's not because they're figuring it out. That's because they are unsure. And when somebody is unsure about you, their behavior will reflect that uncertainty. Real love doesn't hesitate in showing up. When a person truly loves you, you won't feel like an option. You won't feel like you're competing with their distractions. You won't feel like you're constantly chasing their attention. They will prioritize you naturally. Not because you demanded it, but because they want to. Consistency also means emotional maturity. It means when there's conflict, they don't disappear. They don't punish you with silence. They don't threaten the relationship every time things get uncomfortable. They stay. They communicate. They work through it. Love that runs at the first sign of difficulty was never rooted deeply. Now here's where many people make a mistake. They fall in love with potential. They say, I know who they can be, but you don't build a future on potential. You build it on patterns. And if the pattern is inconsistency, that is the reality you are signing up for. Real love doesn't keep you guessing. It doesn't leave you wondering where you stand. It doesn't create anxiety as a regular part of your routine. It gives clarity. It gives stability. It gives you the comfort of knowing that tomorrow will feel similar to today in the ways that matter. And let's talk about effort. Consistency requires effort. It requires intention. It requires someone deciding every day that you matter. That's not accidental. That's deliberate. When someone truly loves you, they don't just feel it, they practice it daily. You see feelings come and go. Attraction can fluctuate. Emotions rise and fall. But commitment to consistency is a choice. And love, at its core, is a choice you keep making. So if you're in a situation where you're constantly confused, constantly anxious, constantly trying to figure out what changed, pay attention. Love should not feel like a guessing game. It should not feel like you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. When someone truly loves you, they are consistent in their communication, consistent in their respect, consistent in their presence. You don't have to wonder if they're going to pull away without warning. You don't have to brace yourself for emotional whiplash. Consistency is romantic. Consistency is attractive. Consistency is safe. And most importantly, consistency is love in action. So don't let anyone tell you that you're asking for too much when you ask for steadiness. You're not asking for too much. You're asking the wrong person, because the right person will give you consistency naturally. And when you experience that kind of love, you'll realize something powerful. You'll realize that love was never supposed to be confusing. It was always supposed to be clear. True love offers peace, not pressure. Ladies and gentlemen, hear me clearly when I say this. If it feels like constant pressure, it is not love. Love is not supposed to feel like you are carrying a weight on your chest every single day. It is not supposed to feel like anxiety disguised as excitement. It is not supposed to feel like fear of losing someone every time they get quiet. Real love brings peace into your life, and peace is powerful. Pressure feels like performance. It feels like you have to say the right thing, look the right way, act the right way just to keep somebody interested. It feels like you are being evaluated instead of embraced. When someone truly loves you, you are not auditioning for a role in their life. You already have the part. You are chosen without having to compete. Peace in love means you can breathe. You can relax. You can be yourself without worrying that one mistake will cause everything to fall apart. You do not feel like you are constantly one argument away from a breakup. You do not feel like affection is something you have to earn through perfection. Love does not demand flawless performance. It accepts human imperfection. Pressure also shows up as emotional manipulation. It is when someone makes you feel guilty for expressing your needs. It is when they turn every conversation into a test of loyalty. It is when they threaten to withdraw love if you do not comply. That is not passion. That is control. And control has no place in real love. When a person truly loves you, they protect your peace instead of disturbing it. They think about how their words will land on your heart. They consider your feelings before reacting. They do not create unnecessary drama just to feel powerful. They are mindful of your emotional safety. Peace means stability in communication. You are not afraid to speak up. You are not walking on eggshells. You are not rehearsing conversations in your head out of fear of how they might respond. You can disagree without feeling like the relationship is under attack. That is maturity. That is love operating at a healthy level. Pressure often hides behind intensity. Some people say, I just love hard. But loving hard should not mean loving in a way that exhausts someone. Love should energize you, not drain you. It should add strength to your life, not constantly test it. If being with someone feels like emotional survival, that is not love offering peace. Peace also shows up in trust. When someone truly loves you, they are not constantly suspicious without reason. They do not interrogate you about every interaction. They do not assume betrayal where there is none. They trust because they are secure. And that security creates calm. Let me tell you something important. You cannot build a future on pressure. You cannot create something lasting if the foundation is anxiety. Relationships built on pressure crack under stress. But relationships built on peace grow stronger over time. When love offers peace, you feel supported in your growth. You do not feel threatened for wanting more in life. You do not feel pressured to shrink yourself to protect their ego. A peaceful love celebrates your ambition. It encourages your dreams. It does not compete with them. Pressure says, prove yourself. Peace says, be yourself. Pressure says, do not mess this up. Peace says, we will work through it. Pressure creates fear of loss. Peace creates confidence in presence. And here is something many people overlook. Peace does not mean the absence of challenges. Every relationship will have disagreements. Every connection will face difficult seasons. But even during those seasons, there is a calm underneath it all. There is a knowing that you are still valued. There is reassurance that you are not disposable. True love gives you emotional safety. You are not scared to show vulnerability. You are not punished for expressing hurt. You are not mocked for having feelings. Instead, you are heard. You are understood. You are respected. If you constantly feel tense around someone, pay attention. Your body often recognizes pressure before your mind does. Tightness in your chest, constant overthinking, fear of saying the wrong thing, those are signals. Love should not trigger survival mode. A peaceful love feels steady. It feels grounded. It allows you to focus on other areas of your life without being consumed by relationship stress. It gives you space to thrive. It allows laughter to come naturally. It allows silence to feel comfortable instead of threatening. When someone truly loves you, they do not create storms just to test your loyalty. They do not pull away to see if you will chase. They do not withhold affection to gain control. They choose stability over chaos. And let me say this clearly. You deserve a love that feels like home, not a battlefield. You deserve a connection where your heart can rest. You deserve a relationship that lowers your anxiety, not raises it. True love offers peace, not pressure. And when you experience that kind of peace, you will realize that love was never meant to feel heavy. It was meant to feel safe. A person who truly loves you gives reassurance without being asked. Ladies and gentlemen, this right here is one of the clearest signs of real love, and yet so many people overlook it. Reassurance is not something you should have to beg for. It is not something you should have to demand. It is not something you should have to pull out of somebody with tears, arguments, and emotional exhaustion. When love is genuine, reassurance flows naturally. Reassurance is the quiet way someone says, I'm here, I'm not going anywhere, you matter to me. It shows up in small actions. It shows up in consistency. It shows up in the way they respond when you're feeling uncertain. You do not have to prepare a speech just to feel secure. You do not have to threaten to leave just to get clarity. Real love understands that the heart needs comfort sometimes. Now let's be honest. We all have moments of doubt. We all have insecurities. We all carry past experiences that left scars. When someone truly loves you, they do not weaponize those insecurities against you. They do not call you too sensitive for needing reassurance. They do not make you feel weak for wanting confirmation that you are valued. Instead, they step closer. They speak life into your fears. They calm the storm instead of adding to it. Reassurance without being asked means they communicate clearly. You do not have to guess how they feel. You do not have to decode mixed signals. You do not have to analyze every pause in conversation. They tell you. They show you. They make it plain. Because someone who is serious about you does not enjoy watching you feel unsure about your place in their life. When love is real, it removes unnecessary anxiety. You are not constantly wondering if they are losing interest. You are not checking for hidden meanings behind simple words. You are not afraid that one mistake will cause them to withdraw. Instead, you feel stable. You feel chosen. You feel secure. A person who truly loves you understands that reassurance is an act of care. It is not about feeding ego. It is about protecting the connection. They know that silence can sometimes create doubt, so they fill that silence with clarity. They know that distance can create fear, so they close the gap with presence. They do not wait for you to break down before they decide to be affectionate or expressive. Reassurance also means consistency in affection. You are not showered with love one week and ignored the next. You are not praised in private and hidden in public. Their energy toward you does not shift without explanation. They are steady in how they treat you. That steadiness builds emotional trust. Let me tell you something important. If you constantly feel like you are asking for the bare minimum, that is not reassurance, that is survival. Real love anticipates needs. It pays attention. It listens closely enough to understand when you might need comfort before you even say it out loud. Reassurance can be as simple as a text that says, "I'm thinking about you." It can be a gentle touch when you are overwhelmed. It can be clear communication about future plans. It can be introducing you proudly to others. These small gestures speak loudly. They say, "You are not temporary in my life." When someone truly loves you, they do not enjoy seeing you question their loyalty. They do not create jealousy on purpose just to feel desired. They do not withhold affection as a way to gain power. Instead, they protect your heart. They make sure you feel secure in the bond you share. Reassurance without being asked also means accountability. If they sense that their actions may have hurt you, they address it. They do not dismiss your feelings. They do not say you are imagining things. They listen. They clarify. They repair. Because love is not about being right all the time. It is about being connected. There is a certain calm that comes from being with someone who reassures you naturally. You do not feel like you are chasing validation. You do not feel like you are competing for their attention. You do not feel like you are standing on unstable ground. Instead, you feel rooted. And let's be clear about something. Wanting reassurance does not make you needy. It makes you human. We are built for connection. We are built for affirmation. The right person will understand that and meet you there without making you feel ashamed. When reassurance is present, communication becomes easier. Vulnerability becomes safer. You are more open because you know you will not be punished for expressing your emotions. That safety allows the relationship to grow deeper and stronger. A person who truly loves you will not leave you guessing about their intentions. They will not keep you in emotional suspense. They will not treat you like an option while calling you a priority. Their words and actions will align in a way that eliminates doubt. Reassurance is not about constant praise. It is about consistency and care. It is about reliability and love. It is about making sure that the person you claim to cherish never feels invisible. When someone gives you reassurance without you having to fight for it, you feel seen. You feel valued. You feel secure. And that security allows love to flourish without fear constantly hovering over it. That is the kind of love that lasts. That is the kind of love that builds trust over time. That is the kind of love that strengthens two people instead of keeping them anxious. A person who truly loves you gives reassurance freely, not reluctantly. And when you experience that, you realize that love was never supposed to feel like doubt. It was always supposed to feel like certainty. Real love provides protection, emotionally and spiritually. Ladies and gentlemen, when somebody truly loves you, they do not just say sweet words and make big promises. They protect you. And I'm not just talking about physical protection. I'm talking about emotional protection. I'm talking about spiritual protection. I'm talking about the kind of covering that makes you feel safe in ways you cannot always explain. Protection and love means they are careful with your heart. They understand that your feelings are not toys. They understand that your trust is not something to play with. When someone truly loves you, they handle your vulnerability like it is precious, because it is. They do not mock your fears. They do not expose your weaknesses to other people. They guard what you share with them in private. Emotional protection means they do not deliberately say things to wound you. They may get upset. They may disagree, but they do not aim below the belt just to win an argument. They do not bring up your past mistakes to shame you. They do not use your insecurities as weapons. A person who truly loves you wants to solve problems, not create scars. And let me tell you something important. Protection also means they defend your name when you are not in the room. If someone speaks badly about you unfairly, they do not stay silent just to fit in. They do not allow disrespect to slide by. They stand up for you because your dignity matters to them. You are not just someone they spend time with. You are someone they honor. Spiritually, protection means they care about the direction of your life. They are not trying to pull you into chaos, drama, or negativity. They are not encouraging behavior that destroys your peace. They want to see you grow. They want to see you become better. They pray for you, support your dreams, and encourage your faith in whatever higher purpose you believe in. They are not threatened by your growth. They celebrate it. Protection also shows up in boundaries. A person who truly loves you sets boundaries that protect the relationship. They do not entertain people who disrespect you. They do not blur lines with outsiders in ways that create insecurity. They understand that loyalty is not just about avoiding cheating. It is about avoiding situations that compromise trust. When someone loves you deeply, they think before they act. They consider how their choices will affect you. They do not make reckless decisions that put the relationship at risk. They are mindful. They are intentional. They understand that love requires responsibility. Now here is where many people get it wrong. They think jealousy is protection. It is not. Control is not protection. Possessiveness is not protection. True protection is calm, steady, and respectful. It does not suffocate you. It does not isolate you from everyone else. It does not make you feel trapped. It makes you feel valued. Protection means they are aware of your emotional triggers. They learn what hurts you and they avoid it. Not because they are afraid of you, but because they care about you. They pay attention to your reactions. They listen when you explain your pain. They do not dismiss your experiences as overreacting. They validate you. Spiritually protecting someone also means encouraging integrity. They do not lead you into lies, deception, or behaviors that conflict with your values. They respect your morals. They support your principles. They want to build something clean, something honest, something that does not require hiding. And let's talk about safety. When someone truly loves you, you feel safe to be yourself. You feel safe to express doubt, fear, and dreams. You feel safe to admit mistakes. You are not scared that vulnerability will be punished. That safety is a form of protection. Protection also means they help shield you from unnecessary stress. They do not bring drama from outside into the relationship. They do not allow other people's opinions to control how they treat you. They protect the bond from outside interference. A loving person also protects your time. They do not waste it. They do not string you along without clarity. They do not keep you around for convenience while knowing they have no real intentions. They understand that your time is valuable and they respect it. Emotionally and spiritually protective love creates an environment where growth is possible. It feels secure. It feels intentional. It feels steady. You are not constantly defending yourself. You are not constantly fighting for respect. You are supported. When someone truly loves you, they see your heart as something entrusted to them. And they do not take that lightly. They guard it. They nurture it. They treat it with care. That is what real protection looks like. It is not loud. It is not dramatic. It is quiet strength. It is consistent respect. It is intentional care. A person who truly loves you protects your peace, your reputation, your feelings, and your spiritual direction. And when you experience that kind of love, you realize that protection is not about power. It is about responsibility. Love that is genuine does not keep score. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have to constantly count who did what, who gave more, who sacrificed more, who apologized last, then you are not operating in love. You are operating in competition. Real love is not a scoreboard. It is not a transaction. It is not a business deal where every action must be repaid with equal value. Genuine love gives freely because it wants to, not because it is waiting for something in return. Keeping score creates quiet resentment. It sounds like this: I did this for you, so you owe me. I called you 3 times. Why didn't you call me first? I paid for dinner last week. That mentality slowly poisons a relationship because instead of focusing on connection, you are focused on comparison. You are measuring effort instead of sharing it. When someone truly loves you, they do not give in order to control you. They do not do kind things just to hold them over your head later. Their generosity is not a strategy. It is a reflection of their heart. They help you because they care. They support you because they want to see you win. They sacrifice when necessary because your happiness matters to them. Now let me be clear. This does not mean love is one-sided. Healthy love still requires mutual effort. But in genuine love, both people give willingly. There is a natural rhythm. You are not constantly checking the balance. You are not keeping a mental list of favors. You are not reminding them of everything you have done just to prove your worth. Scorekeeping often comes from insecurity. It comes from fear of being taken advantage of. It comes from feeling unseen or unappreciated. But when love is healthy, appreciation flows freely. Gratitude is expressed openly. There is acknowledgement without calculation. When someone keeps score, arguments become about history instead of solutions. Instead of addressing the current issue, they bring up a long list of past actions. Remember when I did this for you? After everything I've done, that language shifts the relationship from partnership to power struggle. Genuine love does not weaponize kindness. It does not turn sacrifices into debts. It does not make you feel guilty for receiving love. It understands that sometimes one person will give more during certain seasons, and that is okay because life is not always balanced. Sometimes one person is tired. Sometimes one person is struggling. Real love adjusts without resentment. Think about it this way. If someone you love is going through a hard time, you do not help them while thinking, I better get this back later. You help them because they matter. And when the roles reverse, they will naturally want to show up for you too. That is partnership. That is maturity. Scorekeeping also kills romance. It makes affection feel like obligation. If every gesture is evaluated, love begins to feel heavy. It starts to feel like you are constantly being tested. Genuine love feels light because it is not calculating every move. When someone truly loves you, they celebrate your wins without comparing them to their own. They do not feel threatened by your success. They do not diminish your achievements because they think they have done more. They are proud of you, period. And let's talk about apologies. In a scorekeeping relationship, even apologies are tracked. I said sorry last time. It's your turn. But real love is not about taking turns being humble. It is about doing what is necessary to restore peace. If you are wrong, you apologize, not because you are losing, but because you value the relationship more than your pride. Genuine love focuses on growth, not accounting. It asks, how can we get better? Instead of, who did more? It looks forward, not backward. It chooses understanding over competition. Another sign of scorekeeping is conditional giving. I will support you if you support me first. I will be affectionate if you prove you deserve it. That is not love. That is negotiation. Real love gives affection because affection is felt. It gives support because support is needed. Now, this does not mean you ignore imbalance forever. If one person consistently takes without giving, that is not healthy either. But in a truly loving relationship, both people want to contribute. They are not trying to outdo each other. They are trying to uplift each other. When you stop keeping score, something beautiful happens. You relax. You trust. You allow love to flow naturally. You stop guarding your kindness out of fear. You stop counting sacrifices. You simply show up with intention. Love that does not keep score creates emotional safety. You do not feel like every mistake will be stored in a file for future arguments. You do not feel like your worth is tied to performance. You feel accepted. You feel appreciated. You feel free. A person who truly loves you understands that love is about partnership, not point systems. It is about building something together, not competing for credit. It is about mutual care, not measured transactions. When love is genuine, giving feels good, supporting feels natural, forgiving feels possible, and the relationship grows stronger because both people are focused on connection, not calculation. That is the power of love that does not keep score. It removes ego from the equation. It replaces competition with cooperation. It allows two people to move as a team instead of standing on opposite sides of a scoreboard. True love shows up in actions, not just words. Ladies and gentlemen, listen carefully to me. Words are easy. Words are smooth. Words can be practiced, polished, and perfectly delivered. Anybody can say, I love you. Anybody can promise forever. Anybody can describe a beautiful future. But love is not proven in poetry. It is proven in patterns. When someone truly loves you, you do not have to rely on speeches to feel secure. Their behavior speaks louder than their vocabulary. They do not just talk about commitment, they demonstrate it. They do not just describe loyalty, they practice it. They do not just paint pictures of a future, they take steps toward building one. Now let's be honest, words feel good. Compliments feel good. Late night emotional conversations feel good. But if those words are not backed by consistent action, they become empty. And empty words create full disappointment. True love shows up on time. It keeps promises. It follows through. If they say they are going to call, they call. If they say they are going to see you, they make the effort. If they say you matter, their schedule reflects that, because love prioritizes what it values. A person who truly loves you does not hide you. They are not secretive about your place in their life. Their actions make it clear that you are important, you are introduced, you are included, you are acknowledged. They do not make excuses about why you cannot be seen or recognized. Actions also reveal intention. Someone can say they are serious about you, but if their behavior is inconsistent, distracted, or careless, that tells the real story. Love in action looks like effort. It looks like planning. It looks like thoughtfulness. It looks like someone paying attention to what makes you smile and what makes you uncomfortable. True love shows up in difficult moments. It is easy to be present when everything is fun and light. It is easy to laugh and enjoy good times. But what about when you are stressed? What about when you are overwhelmed? What about when life is heavy? A person who truly loves you does not disappear when things get hard. They step closer. They check on you. They support you. They stand beside you. Not because it is convenient, but because you matter. Actions also show respect. If someone truly loves you, they respect your boundaries. They listen when you express discomfort. They adjust when you explain your needs. They do not repeatedly cross lines and then apologize with beautiful words. Because repeated apologies without changed behavior are just rehearsed performances. Love in action means growth. If you bring up an issue, they do not just nod and say, I'll do better. They actually do better. You see the effort. You see the adjustment. You see the change. Because real love cares about becoming better for the relationship. Let me tell you something important. Consistency of action builds trust. Words build hope. But actions build trust. And without trust, love cannot survive. When someone truly loves you, their daily choices align with their promises. They are not living a double life. They are not saying one thing and doing another. There is alignment between what they say and how they move. True love also shows up in small details. It remembers important dates. It remembers your favorite things. It notices when your energy shifts. It pays attention, not because it has to, but because it wants to. Attention is one of the purest forms of love. And let's talk about sacrifice. Love in action sometimes requires sacrifice. It requires compromise. It requires putting the relationship above temporary comfort. Someone who truly loves you will not always choose what is easiest for them. Sometimes they will choose what is best for both of you. Actions also reveal loyalty. Loyalty is not proven by saying, "I would never hurt you." It is proven by daily integrity. It is proven by how they behave when you are not around. It is proven by the boundaries they maintain with others. Words can promise loyalty, but actions protect it. If someone says they love you, but repeatedly disappoints you, repeatedly ignores your needs, repeatedly breaks trust, believe the pattern. Love does not consistently hurt you without effort to change. Love does not keep making the same mistake without growth. True love is visible. It is felt. It is experienced. It is not something you have to convince yourself of. You do not have to defend it to your friends. You do not have to constantly explain why their words should matter more than their behavior. When love is real, it speaks for itself through action. A person who truly loves you invests time. They invest energy. They invest presence. They do not just fit you in when they are bored. They make space for you. And here is the truth. When someone shows you through consistent action that you matter, you feel secure without forcing it. You feel valued without begging for it. You feel chosen without questioning it. Words can start love. Words can express love. But only actions can sustain love. Because at the end of the day, love is not what someone says in a heated emotional moment. Love is what they consistently do when the emotions settle. True love shows up, not occasionally, not when it is easy, but every single day in ways both big and small. And when you find someone whose actions match their words, you will not have to search for proof. You will see it. You will feel it. You will know it.